phone cause I'm lonely. Hopefully you gon' phone me. I don't cap, I'm no phony. You don't believe, you don't know me. I don't be playing no games. I just want you on the saying, but you don't hear what I'm saying. Think that it's all just some game.
You already know what it is. You are listening to The Urban Product. It's your boy DME.
It's your boy Cozy Rich.
And it's your girl Imani.
And today we have a very special guest in the studio with us. We have Toyelle joining us for this episode. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. I've been watching this for a little while, so I've been ready to come on here and give my 2 cents.
You feel me? Welcome to the show.
Yes.
You know, we've been watching your work also, and it's dope to have you in the studio with us. Let me check in with everyone. How's everyone doing? Imani, I'll start with you.
Oh.
And then I'll go to Rich, you know, because I have to address it this time. So, yeah. Imani, how are you doing?
Scattered, but I'm good.
Scattered?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like, just all over the place. May is a busy month for me. I have finals. I have graduations. I have a personal trip of mine to take. And, yeah, I think I said everything. So I just feel like I'm being pulled everywhere. But, like, it's okay.
Are you done this semester?
What do you mean by done?
With school?
Oh, I wish. One more year, guys.
Oh, okay. Word, checking in. All right, Rich, how you doing?
What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, I'm doing as fine as I could be on a Tuesday. I mean, I've been low key killing it at work recently, so that's doing well. But other than that, I haven't been to the gym since Saturday, so I feel like a lazy piece of shit. But besides that, you know, what I mean, I'm doing pretty good, living my best life. You see, the skin is glowing on screen. I got this sexy ass hat. I'm feeling myself. It's podcast day. I'm in a good ass mood.
Facts. And shout out to our friends over at Give Humanity. That's the hat that Rich is rocking right now. Very good people over there. Make sure you look them up. They have pretty much anything that you're looking for. They even got home decor, which is crazy, but it's dope. So go check them out. You feel me? But I'm doing great. You know, it's another Tuesday. I got my second vax this morning. So, you know, your boy is in the clear.
Okay.
For the moment, I hear that they're trying to maybe do a third dose, and I also heard that they're maybe trying to turn the vaccine into a pill. I don't know, but these are things that I'm hearing about, and we'll keep you informed when shit pops off. But I'm happy that I got both of my vaccinations just to get them out of the way. And honestly, leading up to everything, I remember, you know, everyone had their worries. We didn't know how we were going to react to certain things. But I can tell you right now, after getting both shots, I feel okay both times. Everyone reacts differently, but I'm telling you, like, firsthand, I feel perfectly fine. First one was a little sore. Second one, I don't feel anything at all. So, you know, we're good. For everyone out there that still is skeptical about doing it, just go out and do it.
Which one did you get?
I got Pfizer.
Hey, me too.
Is that the one shot or two? You said second shot. Yeah.
Two.
So never mind.
Yeah. So, you know, Pfizer gang in this bitch. You feel me?
Okay.
Also, I was actually before I got here, I was watching the news, and the pill thing. It's other companies are trying to make a vaccine themselves, and they'll probably be coming out like in the summer, and that's where it's going to be a pill. So not Johnson, Moderna, or Pfizer, but the new like companies making vaccines. But, yeah.
I've just never heard of a vaccine in pill form,
Yeah,
so that's why.
Bro, you know it's 2021. I've never seen them create vaccines in under a year until now. So anything is possible, clearly.
Anything, heavy on anything. But there was a UFO sighting last year. Like at this point, I'm not going to be surprised about nothing. So.
Hey,
I mean,
yeah,
I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if we still have COVID going into next year, to be honest with you, but there's that.
Honestly, because I know we give you a COVID update every single week. With all of this going on, and with Massachusetts lifting restrictions starting in July, going into August, with all this happening, I definitely see a smaller outbreak happening, just a very, very small outbreak happening because of everything going on. But I do see everything being active coming around August, September. I believe everyone will be fully out there. Massachusetts, that is. The South and West have already been doing their thing. You feel me? But like in terms of Massachusetts and the East Coast, August and September, I definitely feel like we'll be more on track. I just know that this summer I am trying to spend as much time outside of Massachusetts as I can, because now that I got both of my shots, you feel me? Your man's walking around with a little bit of confidence. You feel me? I'm walking around a little different right now. I used to just travel and I felt dirty traveling. You feel me? I felt mad dirty traveling. I was like, I thought I was scum when I traveled unvaccinated. But now that I got both, I feel a little safer walking around the streets. So definitely plan to see more of me out there.
Same.
Definitely plan to see that. All right.
Yeah, I got a few trips booked, so especially even this month. So I'm just ready.
I'm not even gonna hold you.
I'm ready.
With the way prices are still kind of low, I feel y'all. We traveling this summer. We outside this summer.
Yeah, you better
outside, but being safe, because I feel like that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, people are outside just doing anything, and even that whole you could walk around without your mask.
Slow.
That I just didn't think that was very wise, and it was very irresponsible, because you can still get COVID being vaccinated, just like you can get any of these other things while vaccinated. So it's just like, don't recommend that, and I don't think we'll have true, data on like everything that's going on until like the fall / winter, because even in the summer, last year, like, COVID was going down, but that's only because like it's hotter out. It's the same thing with the flu. So it's like, we won't really know until people are walking around without masks in the fall and winter if people are still getting it. So they need to, everybody just needs to be safe and not listen to everything the CDC say, because they be a little sketchy sometimes.
Flip-floppy.
I just feel like a big part of it is the money. Like, they lost a lot of money last year, so I could see them. For them to try and make it to a pill, people are not going to be as susceptible, to the pill rather than the shot. 1, 2, them talking about they made the vaccine within a year. It's either niggas could have been doing that from time, whether it had to be cancer, HIV, whatever, and instead of helping people out, they made more money with
I still think that's a thing, to be honest with you. Like, I still think...
What are you talking about?
No.
Dr. Sebi, what are you talking about?
No, I really believe that still.
It's all rooted in capitalism, though, because if you think about it, like, name one vaccine that your primary care doctor didn't give to you. But instead, they're holding on to formulas and only having a few different, companies give them out because they want to make all the money for themselves. It's all about money. It's always been about money.
I just can't get over the fact that there has been trillions of dollars put into cancer research.
Yep. And they can easily
and you mean to tell me y'all haven't found one fucking thing?
Yep. Oh, they absolutely have. They just, you got to be part of the 1%.
Life for Magic Johnson is great.
No, he has AIDS though. That's HIV. That's HIV.
But you got to be rich.
He has the cure. Money.
And they'll be like, you know what? You got to slide the money. Like, how much I got to pay to get this?
Okay, who you know that's gonna give this to me?
Right. Who do you know who
drop your credit card.
Who could get it to me?
You need a black card for that shit.
Niggas
black
pulling
card,
up
drop
to the
my
COVID
black
vaccine like...
Right, slipping it in there. Like, let me know what you can do.
Word. But we'll keep y'all updated. Shit's hectic over here. We have no idea what the fuck we're doing, but we'll keep y'all updated as we go through the chaos. All right. Nice. So I do want to get the listeners caught up. I want to get them familiar with you, Toya, because this is your first time on the show. So I want to go ahead and just give the audience a little background around yourself, where you're from, what you do, and just things like that.
Yeah, sure. So everyone, I am Toya once again. I am the co-founder of Black Boston, which is a nonprofit in the city of Boston. Obviously, that was founded after the May 31st protests last year in Boston, which was actually the largest Black Lives Matter protest in the history of Boston. And so after that, we decided what are, the needs of the Black community, especially because everything is so separated, and I think that it's so important for young people to, to have a platform and have groups like these, just because we know, what we want our future to look like, and everybody leaves it up, to the older generations. And even last year, looking to the older generations to step into this fight. And we thought, what are some different things that we need, in Boston, considering everything that's going on, the gentrification, that's going on, and everyone being pushed out, like them adding all this money into police funding while taking money away from Boston public schools. Like, what are these different things that we need? And so from then, me and my girl Holden Hashi, we ended up just, continuing on with Black Boston, and now it's a nonprofit in the city where we do like educational programming, political advocacy. So we met with like over 40 politicians and kind of building those connections. And then we have mental health awareness because that's really important, especially in the last year with the pandemic. And then we also have like community organizing. So kind of getting back to our roots of like the protesting, mutual aid, and not always leaving it up to the city to help us just because they haven't been helping us so far. But our main goal is to get them to, defund, divest, and demilitarize the police, and reallocate those funds to places that need it. Because if you really think about all the crime that's going on, like the police are not stopping crime. Domestic violence advocates are stopping crime. Social workers are stopping crime. Teachers are stopping crime. And so that is where the money needs to be allocated. I just said a lot. Is what we do at Black Boston. And then I also recently launched a game company, The Master's Tools. It was named after my favorite social theorist, R.G. Lord. And so The Master's Tools is basically a game company that continues these conversations, but through games. And so my first game, Meet the Colonizers, which obviously is not a word of affirmation. Meet the Colonizers is all about exposing American systems, heroes, and ideas. Because I think that a lot of times we talk about, history class, and we either talk about certain people like Christopher Columbus in either a good light, or we leave parts out of the story. And so these cards are telling the story, or I would say the buried stories, of minoritized communities, and giving us the voice and explaining like, y'all are saying this thing, but y'all left out this thing, And so that is my first card game. But then I also have more card games and board games coming out in the future. These are games for all people. So it's not just like one group. I would say, obviously, like I said, it's not a word of affirmation. These are very progressive games. So if you are conservative in Alabama, no, I do not recommend you getting it, because you're going to have some feelings. Okay. But that's not really my business. But yeah, so those are two things that I do, and then I am also graduating in 2 weeks.
Hey,
and so
gunshots for
thank
that.
you. That's gonna look very different in a few weeks what I'll be doing after then. But we're really just trying to continue to build Black Boston, and start getting funding to do other programming, and I'll continue to be building my game company. So.
Word. I like that.
Very busy woman.
Very busy.
Too busy.
How old are you?
23.
Okay.
Ambitious. I like that. Okay.
I like that we're all the same age. You feel me?
Right.
All right. So, with that being said, what has the response been like since you started with Black Boston? Because I remember that protest, and I think we used actually a photo from that protest for one of our episodes way back in the day when we were talking about that when it happened. But what was the response like when everything was popping off?
It was a very interesting couple of days. The name Black Boston came from the fact that we met on Black Twitter. So,
yeah, I feel like it happened really quickly. Yeah,
so myself, my co-founder, and then the other college-age Black woman that founded the protest, she lives in New York, but she happened to be in Boston for that summer. We met each other on Twitter because there was this one tweet and someone said like, oh, at least Boston isn't that racist. And we were just sitting there like, hold on. What is going on here?
Boston
and so yeah, I was sitting here like, where are you at, Beacon Hill? Like, what is going on? And so I think it's really important for people to understand that there are different types of racism and different layers to it, right? And Boston may not be very culturally racist, so there might not be Confederate flags on bumper stickers and in windows, but it's very systemically racist. I'm getting followed in Old Navies, because I'm looking at clothes. I'm getting denied healthcare when I go into the clinic when I say something hurts because they think that I'm a Black woman and I'll be all right. And so seeing that, I was just like, like, this is what we're not going to do, because now y'all are just lying. And so, I'm very vocal, obviously, and my co-founders are very vocal. And so we started kind of going in, and we were talking about, like, we want to stand in solidarity with Minnesota and the rest, of the country. We had seen, LA's protests, and we were like, and that's how you give it up, okay? And so,
which protests are you talking about in LA?
The one that was all over the news. So
I didn't know we were talking about.
I think that because there were a whole lot. We were talking about the one after the George Floyd incident.
Okay.
Because it was all in that same week that all 50 states had protested, and so we decided we want to do our own. And obviously, we didn't have super huge platforms. But we decided let's do it. And as we started doing it, a lot of people were like, oh, we don't know who these people are. What if they're like white supremacists in disguise, or like all these different things? And we're like, what is going on? And then the founder of Black Lives Matter Boston had contacted us and was like, hey, like, who are you guys? And we were like, we're just some young black women in the city that, you know, want to do a protest. And she's like, there's going to be like 300 to 3,000 people. There's going to be like 3,000 to 7,000 people. And it kept going in. The NAACP reached out to us. Like all these different people were reaching out to us. And then there ended up being like 25,000 people at the protest. And so, you know, obviously that wasn't, we weren't expecting like a huge thing, especially because sometimes Boston is so divisive. There was a protest 2 days ago and some people think, oh, I stepped outside today, I don't got to step outside tomorrow. And so we didn't expect so many people to show up, you know, but they did. It was on Sunday. People were off work. They got there earlier than we did. Like by the time we had got to Dudley Square, it's now Nubian Square, but that's the gentrified name. But yeah, so we had got there. There were a whole bunch of people there, and as we marched, it really just brought tears to my eyes as we got to the State House, because I felt like I was very surprised at how many people came outside, how many different types of people came outside, because it was very different than anything I had seen. Obviously, you know, this is a predominantly white state, and so I was like very surprised to see how many white people showed up, and then, you know, things started going left. As we left, I was getting bottles thrown at my head, and I was like, okay, it's time to go. And we kind of made our exit. But after that, the response was very dope. The engagement was very dope. Like, so many people were so invested into, like, what are y'all going to do next? You know, like, this is dope. And a lot of people, and that's why so many older organizers and organizations started reaching out to us, because they're like, we have been trying to get people to come out like this for a long time. Like, what did y'all do? And we're just like, social media. Like, I feel like people don't understand, like, yes, social media could be very toxic if you have toxic things on your page, but you can also use your platform to your advantage. And a lot of people don't understand that. You can go viral and have 100 followers. You don't need to be a celebrity, you know, to make an impact. And you don't have to have a huge platform to make an impact. We don't get newspapers thrown in front of our doors anymore. Like, social media is the way we get on the news. When the Capitol was invaded with all them white supremacists, I went on Twitter. I didn't go on CNN because CNN be telling lies, you know? Right. And so
Twitter be quick.
You get on Twitter. All these things are going viral. These things are being shared. All the stuff that happened, like racism didn't just start last year, you know? All these things that were happening didn't just start last year, but because so many people are recording with their iPhones, they're posting, things are going viral. Now more people learn about them because they're talking about, oh my gosh, I didn't know how bad police brutality was. And it's just like, this has been going on for 400 years, you know? But now that we are getting our own platforms and we're able to share all these things, it gets bigger. And so I feel like it's so important to use your social media platforms to your advantage. And everybody has a platform. Like, don't think because you have a small follow count or whatever it is that you don't have a platform. And Black Boston's platform built really, we actually hit 10K followers today. And we had it up for a year. And so yeah, it's been, social media is very important, and it's a very good way to spread information.
So I know there are people watching this right now, because I remember when I found out about the protest last May 29th, I was there. You couldn't tell me anything about it. I was there. So I know there's people watching this right now, and they're like, I would love to help join the cause, help out any way I can. What are some ways that people can help aside from, you know, posting on social media, making people aware? What are some other ways that people can help your organization?
So in terms of helping our organization, I would say, so you can go on blackboston.org, where you can see all the different things that we do and offer, and how you can support. There's always different projects that we do. So like last week we did a period pop-up. And so we gave out little menstrual packages with like pads, tampons, wipes, and things like that. And we just stood in the park and we just gave them out to, you know, Black women as they were passing. And then, you know, we're going to do a whole bunch of other mutual aid projects. So those are like individual things you can help out with. If you want to just volunteer for specific things, you can always donate. You can get involved. You can contact us if there's something specific that you want to do or something that you can author, whether that's like you have a class that you want to do, or there's a job offer. And a lot of people tell us like, hey, we're looking for Black people to fill these positions, you know, do you want to spread the word? And so you can help in a whole bunch of, you know, different ways. And then also outside of Black Boston, because I feel like a huge conversation has been like, what is an activist? Like, how do you become an activist and all these different things? And I never even really considered myself an activist up until people kind of threw that word at me. And I'm like, Angela Davis is an activist. Like, MLK is an activist. I'm just like, who am I? Y'all like using this big word. But then I started to, you know, resonate with it. but it's all about what do you feel like you can contribute to society in terms of like social justice, you know? And it doesn't always have to be protesting. So many people keep thinking that like an activist is someone who protests and lobbies and does this and that, but it's like, and we actually made a what type of activist quiz are you, which you can also find on blackboston.org. So you can take that quiz and you can learn like what is your form of activism. Some people like to protest, some people like to educate and go be teachers. Some people's activism is through art, so they'll do murals and things like that. Some people got money and they just want to donate, you know? And so don't feel like you have to do or be one thing in order for you to feel like you're an activist or you're advocating for change, because that's definitely not the case. You have to find what you're very passionate about and how can you incorporate this work into it.
Wow. You're
well said.
Yeah,
Very
all that was well said.
Thank you.
You're obviously a very busy woman, and like you just told us, in a couple weeks you're gonna graduate. So what are you going to school first? That's my first question.
So right now I'm going to school for sociology and education with a minor in women, gender, and sexuality studies. I'm still figuring out because I do want to go to grad school eventually. I was going to just go in the fall, but after this last year, and I remember my professors telling me, because I wanted to go to school for higher educational policy, and they're like, you could do so much more. And I'm just like, why y'all like knocking my dreams? Like, I could be doing stuff at a university. And they're like, no, like, you need to think bigger. And last year, I didn't even think I was going to be doing a game company or anything like that. And so many things have changed in the last year. And so I'm like, what do I want to go to grad school for, you know? And do I want to go get my master's or do I want to go get my doctorate? So I'm still figuring that out. But once I graduate, I just want to go work in Boston Public Schools and do some restorative justice work, because I feel like education has always been the root of everything for me. It's very important to me. And so I want to go work with some Black and brown kids and help them find themselves and find what they want to do, because they don't treat them the way that they need to be treating them in them schools.
No, that's big facts. So wait, how did you handle doing all of that on top of being a student? Like, what made you just stop and go, you know what, I'm gonna do this as well?
That, and where do you find the time?
Honestly, people always say like you're doing a lot, and I guess I am, but like I also think time management is important, and just incorporating self-care into your actual schedule. Like, a lot of people go like, I'm gonna do my assignment, then I'm gonna go to work, then I'm gonna do this, and if I got time, I'll go to the gym. And it's just like, no. If you saying you're going to the gym, then you need to incorporate that into your schedule. Like from 11 to 12, I'm going to the gym, and that is it. I'm not the type of person who like is gonna let life drag me. So those people who go, oh, millionaires don't get 8 hours of sleep, this one will. I'll tell you that. I'm going to sleep. I'll tell you that. I feel like they always like, there's just this, I don't know, like people are just so into, you have to work, and it's just like, that's not the type of life I want to live. I remember someone asked like, what is your dream job? Like, dream job, like the dream is to not work, you know? And obviously I'm doing things that I love right now, you know, and I'll continue to do them, and I don't think that I would ever stop doing them, because they just, it's a job, but at the same time it's like a hobby. Like, these are things, I was making these games on my own just because I was having fun with them. And so when you find something that you're really interested in, it doesn't feel like you're busy or like you're doing a lot of work, because these are things that you want to do. And I'm like very grateful that I can wake up and be like, okay, I'm going to get on a meeting and do things that I want to do and talk about things that I want to talk about, versus other people who like roll out of bed and be like, dang, I don't want to go. But I definitely would say that's one just huge part of it, with in terms of like not feeling drained or not feeling like, dang, I got to do everything. But then also friends. Like, I feel like it's so important. So many people talk about, like, just stay inside. And, you know, last year they're like, how hard it is to social distance and da-da. And it's just like, it's very hard. It's very hard to not be around people. I'm a very social person. Like, I love to be around people. I feed off the energy of people. I like doing that. And so it was very important for me to, like, be FaceTiming my friends, to, you know, pick times that we can, you know, hang out. Did y'all go get COVID tested? Like, let's go do something. You feel me? Let's go out to eat something. Because it makes everything that sucks in life a little bit better. You know, I always leave my friends and I'd be like, I love them. Like, I feel so much better. So yeah, definitely balancing that, doing things that you love, and making time for people that you love definitely helps me.
I like that.
Somebody fill me in, right? So the day that protest happened, the Black Boston protest, was that the same one that the National Guard pulled up to? Was that the same one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I'll tell you about
quick
that,
question,
so.
but also, was that the same one where all the
Everything
looting
happened.
and shit happened at the end too?
So
Yes.
to be honest, bro, at the end of the actual protest itself, everyone like congregated into the Boston Commons. There were people like saying poems, people doing music, and just people like in their own groups, like little sections, just talking. Mm-hmm. And then it got to a point around like 8 o'clock where the police were just like, get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And people were like, we're not doing anything. We're just peacefully, protest, peacefully assembling here. Why are you kicking us out? And that's when shit started becoming or going left. So I actually have videos on my phone on like everything starting and whatnot. But yeah, the police were in the store, police were in the streets antagonizing people, and they shut down the Orange Line. So they were telling people, they shut down everything.
All the trains.
So they were telling everyone to go home, but yet no one had a way home.
And they tear gas down there.
Exactly.
They shut it down. Everybody down there, even people who just go home, tear gas.
So they they high key created the situation, and people just took advantage of it.
Okay.
There were some people took advantage of the situation, but I know there were a lot of people that were legitimately just trying to get home. Didn't want to be in that environment whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you 100% that the protesters were not the ones that started that.
So with that being said, how did it feel having your protest being associated with the riots and the lootings and all that?
I didn't care. I feel this is why I said, like, I came on here to talk my shit, because this is the problem with everyone going on about the looting happening. And first of all, if you're a white person, you have no position in telling black people how to channel their emotions during a genocide. You have no place. And so even if it was protesters who were doing their thing, because I'm sure there were people like, oh, that store's already open, bet I'm about to go grab a shirt. Whatever. You're not in the place to tell anyone how to channel their emotions and how to handle it. Looting is an act of war. It's taking resources back. And we got a whole lot of resources that we should have been taken back from 400 years ago and beyond. And so I feel like the conversation and just that narrative, I remember someone from the Boston Globe coming up to us right after the protest, and they said, hey, you guys are the organizers, can we get your names? And at the time, we're like, we don't even know how we feel about everything right now, so like, we're gonna pass on that. 3 hours later, article already up, looting this, looting that. My name, it would have said Toya Washington on Google, looting and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, are y'all serious? Y'all just followed us for 3 hours. It was peaceful. And all y'all decided to highlight was the looting that happened after the protest was over.
That's what I'm saying.
And so I'm just like, honestly, the city got burnt down, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it. If it was black neighborhoods that got burned down, I would have felt terrible. But you know what? The right part of the city got what was coming for them, because this is our shit. We built this. So if people want to burn it down, then they got every right to. Maybe go rebuild your own shit. There's plenty of them people who were sending people to burn shit down for them because they just wanted that insurance money. So it's just like, don't tell us how to protest. Please just don't go riot. Please don't go da-da-da-da. If it was another situation, there would have been plenty, especially if it was something that was more in regard to like the white community and their problems, because I'm not going to act like they don't have problems. Are their problems like ours? Obviously not. But if they had something going on, they would have been turning the fuck up. Turning up. Don't play with them. Why you think, there were so many people out there? Because it's just like, it's not just about racism, because racism and capitalism, they're intertwined, like they're together. And so there are a lot of people out there who ain't just fighting racism. They're out there trying to fight the 1%, because they're like, how dare y'all? I'm white. I got rights. I have privilege. How dare you not let me have my privilege? How dare you not let me be the type of white I was always meant to be? So I don't care about them looting or doing anything of that nature, because at the end of the day, you don't get to tell us how we handle what happens when y'all kill us, and y'all are still killing us. So clearly it didn't get burned down enough.
And with that being said, I also want to pick up everyone else's reactions, because I know we haven't talked about a lot of things that have been going on with the state of the country and just with things happening in Massachusetts themselves, because I've been trying to keep everyone's spirits on a positive, but I guess it is a good time to touch up on everything that's been going on. So on the same day that we recorded our 420 episode, we were given the results of the Derek Chauvin's trial. And for the ones who don't know Derek Chauvin's, he is the police officer who was filmed murdering George Floyd. He's the officer that was on George Floyd's neck for the 8.5 minutes or the 9 minutes, however so it was. And he was found guilty of 3 charges. Let's see. He was found guilty of 2nd and 3rd degree murder, I believe, and also a count of manslaughter as well. And he is now facing up to 75 years in prison. So now with all of that going on, the protests that have happened, the lives that are being lost and are lost, I never got to check in with everyone to see how they felt about the verdict. So I want to take the opportunity to do that now.
What pisses me the fuck off about everything is the fact that this happened last July. We all saw it on video, and we were like, the fact that I was still on edge, like worried, is this man gonna get convicted? Like thinking about that shit after the fact, I'm pissed off about that, because I guarantee you, if a black man was caught on camera doing the same shit to a white man,
it wouldn't have taken.
First of all, it wouldn't have taken that long. There would be no reason to go to court, bro. I guarantee you, they would have found a way to not go to court or expedite that process. Yeah. One day in court, you feel me?
The quickest black.
That trial was 3 fucking weeks for what reason? And I was on edge at the end, like, yo, they better not say he's not guilty. And the fact that we saw him on camera kill a black man, and I had that feeling
that there could have been a chance
that there was a legitimate chance that he could get a not guilty. And I only felt that way because he's white. Yep. He's white in America. That's the only reason I felt that way. So I'm happy as fuck that he got his verdict, like he got the guilty verdict on all 3 counts. But I'm kind of torn because, like, after hearing like the amount of time he actually do, I'm learning that he can get out after 12 years. So I'm like, he took a life and he's only gonna get 12 years, or he has the potential to only get 12 years. That shit.
Forever.
What she said. So I'm just like, that doesn't, it's not justice to me. Like when he gets sentenced in June, if he gets anything other than life, that's a problem to me. It's just a simple problem. Because he's a police officer in a position of power. Watch the video, nigga knows what he's doing. Takes a life. Yep. Has no remorse for it. But you got people in jail, like she said, for weed for life. You got people doing less for life. Like I'm not hearing it. Like he needs to be in jail for life. We'll get to the other officers that were there. But Derek Chauvin, that nigga needs to be in jail for life. I'm happy with the verdict, but I won't be really happy. I won't be truly happy until I know how much time he actually has.
All right, Amani, let me check in with you.
Like Rich, I was pissed off. One main reason is that I felt so excited once I heard the results. I remember I went to go do my nails actually, and I was in a space where I was the only black woman that was like the only black person there essentially. And when it happened, I wanted to get so happy, and then I was like, okay, I can't get that. One, I didn't want to not aggravate, but I didn't want to cause a situation. I didn't want somebody to come in and ruin the moment by me getting happy. That was one. 2, I was happy, but it was like I was happy because it was a breath of fresh air. Like Rich said, he was on the edge of his seat, so it could have went the other way. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of people who expected it to go the other way. But the fact that we got so happy after this one thing, and you think back to the amount of times it's happened before, and those are just the ones that we know of, that was the sickening part for me. So it's a bittersweet moment because, yes, somebody got it. Plus, mind you, like Rich said, the offer, for me personally, they all should have got it because they all took part in the matter. You're sure he's the one who actually did the act, but they sat there and they watched it. And when other people try to actually do something about it, they stop those people. So they should have been getting twice as worse with Derek Chauvin.
Okay. So, how about you? How'd you feel? Being in the position that you are, how did you feel about the verdict?
I ain't satisfied, honestly. Like, I'm just getting to a point where, like, small victories are cool, but, like, they're not they're not a lot. Like you won the battle, but you didn't win the war. Like, and so I just feel like that's cool that, you know, there was quote unquote, you know what, I would just say accountability. You feel me? That's not even really justice, you know? But I think that people keep looking at individual problems and then they run. It's the same thing. Biden was elected and now all of a sudden it's like, where's the protest? Where's the teeing up? Like, where are all these different things? Where's the conversation? Why is it that, you know, after George Floyd was murdered, it was a trending topic for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, after all the states protested, they're like, all right, back to regular scheduled program. And it's just like, that's our problem. I hate when people say, oh, I am not my ancestors. You could never be your ancestors. Our ancestors got crazy. Are you kidding me? They was protesting for 90 days before they stopped anything. Like, y'all could never be your ancestors because everybody gives up so quick, and so many people have so much learned hopelessness. Y'all think that this one little thing means that we got justice, and we didn't. Like, there needs to be more. This whole thing with, you know, Stop Asian Hate has been going on for a year now, you know, because of COVID. And they already got a bill, and it's just like, why isn't Emmett Till's lynching bill? Like what is going on here? What is actually going on here? Because now y'all are playing with me because you're not telling me y'all got plenty of bills that y'all been working on forever that y'all still haven't finished, but y'all got this one passed after the hashtag was trending for 3 weeks. What the fuck is going on? And so that's cool, and I'm glad that one person, you feel me, will be, you know, hopefully, you know, thrown in prison for who knows how long, you know, because we still got a few more weeks to hear. But I feel like there needs to be more. And like every time something happens, they go, well, you should at least be happy. I shouldn't at least be happy because it's like bare minimum. Something else is going to happen, unfortunately. Something else is going to happen. And we're going to go through the same process, and then they're going to possibly, you know, convict these people. You know, they're possibly going to maybe throw them in jail or whatever. And then it's going to happen again and again and again until real action is being taken forward. And so it's just like, once again, that's cool, but it's just like, it's not enough.
She's right. She's 100% right. Because when you think about it, bro, so in my lifetime, I'll say, like, I wasn't alive during the Rodney King shit, so I can't say, like, that's when police brutality started for me. I think for all of us, I could say police brutality started with Trayvon Martin. Or not Trayvon Martin, my fault. Sandra Bland, fucking Breonna Taylor. You can go to Felipe Castro. So I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of other people who got gunned down by police and haven't gotten justice. Those people are still walking. So I'm just like, I agree with her 100%. This isn't a win because this is the bare minimum. This should be an expectation every time this shit happens, and we're celebrating. So I kind of feel it.
So this is what I will say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about you, Deb?
Yeah, so this is what I will say. So I remember they announced it, right? They announced the verdict right before we started recording that 420 episode. And I remember my exact reaction. I was already way too far gone during the moment, right? But I remember my reaction was like, word. Big Chauvin pack I'm about to roll up right now, you feel me? But after disrespectfully, a light one in the air, you feel me? But after I took some time to sit down with it, I really did start thinking about it. I was like, well, if they didn't give him a guilty verdict, do you know what would have happened? It's like, if to go through everything that we've gone through since this incident happening, to the looting, things being burned down, fucking the NBA going on pause, just so many different things that happened because of this one moment, you have to think about it. They have to think about it like this. If Derek Chauvin was found not guilty of any three of those counts, this world, or at least this country, would have been turned upside down. This shit would have gotten really bad out here. And I think it was more of we got to protect ourselves at the end of the day, because yes, we can give this man not guilty verdict, or yes, we can give this man maybe those 12 years instead of the possible 75. But if they did go that route, they would have had to deal with a lot, and they would have had a lot to answer for. So I did think a big majority of the reason why they did do this is kind of to give people what they wanted. This was something far too big for them to sweep under the rug. They were able to sweep under the Sandra Bland situation. They were able to sweep under Emmett Till, even though years later the woman came out to say that she lied. They've been able to sweep under fucking Breonna Taylor by just giving niggas a check. You feel me? They've been able to sweep under so much shit under the rug. This is one thing that you could not sweep under the rug, and if you did, there would have been hell to pay for. This country was literally put on pause when that happened. The country was put on pause for at least a few days.
Bro, they knew. They had the National Guard outside of the courthouse. They had fences around the courthouse. They knew if they had a not guilty verdict, all shit was going to hell.
So you cannot show me a video of a man on someone's neck for almost 9 minutes. You cannot show me that. A man on the floor begging for his life, cooperating with the law, not resisting, completely held under control. Did not need a knee on his neck for 9 minutes. You cannot show me a video of that, wait all of these months later, and then come back with a not guilty verdict. First of all, if they were to give the man a not guilty verdict off of half of the shit this man's lawyer was saying, I was going to give up on everything, fam. I was going to give up on everything. You know the type of shit that his lawyer was trying to say?
Original pro person.
He was trying to say, I felt like at some point this nigga was just grasping.
Yeah, he was pulling shit out of his ass.
Grabbing for needles, you feel me? He was like, little aliens invaded Derek Chauvin's body and forced him to commit this crime. Or they're trying to say that something about George Floyd having some type of medical condition and that being the thing that killed him.
No. When they said the exhaust from the car is what killed him.
They went through so much shit to try to cover him, and that just lets you know, nigga, the dude was fucked. He was fucked, and they tried every single possible solution to try to show that he wasn't guilty. So could you imagine how this country would have responded if that was the verdict to go out? You got to give this man a guilty verdict. You got to. So that's how I see it. You feel me? If things weren't turned out as big, if something like this was to happen after every single person died, that would be hard to do because unfortunately people die every 3 seconds. So that's something very hard to do. But if we were to treat it like this every single time, then maybe we would get, a change in things. And that's a very strong maybe. You feel me? But that's how I felt about everything. I was just like, yeah, okay, cool. He got a guilty verdict. There's 3 other people still involved in it, so we got to see what's going on with them. And it doesn't matter because, like everyone else has already been saying, all of these things could happen, but this is just going to be a recurring thing, and hashtag justice for someone is always going to be a hashtag, unfortunately. So yeah, this isn't really pushing anywhere in the right direction. This, if anything, is just showing me that if you make noise loud enough, niggas have no choice but to listen to you. So that's what I got off all of this.
Honestly, what I got out of this is that in order for a black person to get justice, it needs to be on camera.
Yep.
Not even that, because so many people have been, caught on camera and it was still not used to their advantage. So
honestly, bro, I really can't think of any situation before this, like when an officer actually killed someone or killed a black person where it was actually caught on camera.
I think Rodney King was on. Oh, he was beaten. He wasn't killed.
Yeah. I feel like there was a few situations, not as clear, but like there were. But I think that like
Eric Gardner, because
people also don't understand that around the time it was like, all right, we have like Ahmaud Arbery who was killed beforehand, but people had they had just found out that he was killed, and obviously he wasn't killed by cops, but like they just found out that he was killed. Then we had just found out that Breonna Taylor was killed like 2 months before. Like we just kept finding out every week that there was somebody else who was killed, and we didn't know about it for months, And so everybody was already fed the fuck up. People wanted to go outside because of the pandemic. Like everybody, they was just like, yo, fuck the government, fuck the police, fuck everything, because now y'all are pissing us off. And so it got to that point, where everybody was already like, I'm waiting to go the fuck off. Like, I've been waiting. And then this video gets released, and we're like, are y'all dead ass? And then that was just like, it was like the icing on the cake. It's like, we've been waiting, you know? And then Minnesota was just like, you know what? It's going to be us first. Let's go. Let's get it. We're outside. And that's why I keep saying that. People don't understand. They keep talking about, oh, you know, protest in the street and da-da-da. And it's like, I will say, because that is not my form of activism. Like, protesting all the time is not my form of activism. Education is, you know? Because I feel like there is just so many things that the Black community needs to get together collectively before we even start getting into other things. And so that's why I always just focus so much on awareness and educating people. But protesting is important because it's just like taking up space, disturbing people is important. I think that some people need to understand the way you organize is important to your impact, because all this let's go protest in Black neighborhoods, we know Black Lives Matter, we're Black, we know that. Go to them white areas, go let them know that Black Lives Matter. Like, why are we yelling in our own streets? It don't make no sense. And so there's so many different things that just need to be changed that we need to understand. And there's just so many things that people need to actually start looking into, you know, because so many people go on social media and they just speak off of opinion, and it's just like, where is your source? Where are you getting this from? Like, what is going on? There's so many different things that we need to get together, but protests are very important, and people need to understand that, and they need to understand that. Stop letting organizers and activists and organizations be the ones to speak for you. You know, y'all all need to come outside. It is not a y'all thing to handle. It's a everybody thing. Collectively, we all need to be doing that stuff. And I wish that more people, specifically in Boston, you know, would do that, or just New England, because I feel like we're so divisive, and there can only be one mentality, even with Black-owned businesses. Oh, why are you selling graphic tees? I'm selling graphic tees. Why are you selling lashes? I'm selling lashes. It's just like, so fuck what? Why can't we both sell lashes? Damn, like, you don't see, there's Asian people on every block with nail salon. You don't see them walking into nail salon talk about, oh, well, why are you doing nails? Like, why can't we all just do shit? I like it too. I can't like that too. And so we need to come together in solidarity and actually think about, like, what are the things that we feel like we need are most important to us, and how are we going to do that, and start showing up with solutions, not the problems. Like, stop complaining and going on, I don't like this, I don't like that. Okay, and what are you going to do about it? And so I think that it got to that point last year where everybody was so tight, and they started showing up with their demands. They started going, like, defund the police, like, get rid of this stuff. And everybody, you feel me? They read the room. They were like, you know what? Bet, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And that's what happened.
Okay.
Word. I like
Fuck
that.
that nigga Biden, by the way.
Why?
Because he hasn't done shit that he's promised. He hasn't done shit that he's promised to us.
I feel you.
As for the Black vote on the Breakfast Club,
Gonna happen,
I mean, yes,
Yes, the Breakfast Club.
He was on the Breakfast Club saying, if you're not Black, or you're not Black if you don't vote for me. What has he done for Black people?
Bye.
For the first 5 months, I can't tell you much.
Thank you.
To be honest, for the first 5, because
But
it is month 5, right?
No, but like the fact that he passed an Asian bill, an anti-Asian hate bill, after pandering for the Black vote and doesn't do shit for us.
Oh yeah. Do you know how much money the Asian community brings into this country?
I don't give a fuck. Do you know we voted you in?
No, I'm hip. I'm telling you why it happened.
Oh no, I'll tell you why it
everything.
happened.
Come on.
I'll tell you why it happened. Because white people are becoming the minority, and Asian people are like